Hello, and welcome to Daily Space. For today, 26th of June, 2019, I am your host, Annie Wilson. I have two dogs. You will hear them in the background because they have associated streaming with Cheerios. To give the dogs Cheerios, all you need to do is cheer with some bits, follow, subscribe, essentially make any alert pop up on my screen, and I will shower them with Cheerios. So, look at that! Look at that! See, they're ready. I don't even have them up right now. But as an example, here's how this works. Here's the Cheerios, and speak! Right, hey, that was enough. And make it rain. She was doing pretty good there for a second, for only barking for a bit or two. So, I'm going to pull up chat so I can read chat. Here's how this works today. We have a whole lot of stuff going on. Or, well, we had a whole lot of stuff going on. We're going to cover the things that launched first. And then we're going to talk about the things that are going to launch. And here's the deal. We're going to cover more than usual the things that are going to launch because we're not streaming next week. We are taking the entire next week off. That is, what, June... I have to check. June 30th to July 6th. All right, look, more bits. 36 bits from FL. That was a little early. But anyways, Tinker says thank you. And make it rain. All right. So, yeah. But yeah. So, June 30th, July 6th, we will not be streaming at all. So, we're going to cover more upcoming launches than usual. And, yeah, so I will do the best to answer all of your questions. As usual, if I don't have an answer to your question, somebody in the community has an answer to your question. So please, feel free to @ me with all of your questions. We will do our best to answer them as, you know, as best as we can, quite frankly. And, yeah. So, I think the dogs have picked up the rest of their bits, so I'm going to turn doggy cam off. And actually, no, I'll just leave doggy cam on. So yeah, oh, look, it's not even ready. Look at that. Ha 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 ha. I did that thing where nothing's ready again. Look at me screwing up. Nope, that's not the right window either. That's still not the right window. Come on, you can do this. You can do this. Computer, why can't you do this? Oh my goodness. All right. So, apparently, we're probably going to end up doing the intro again because I can't get this to pull up correctly. Which is super annoying. Super annoying. Anyways, yeah, we're taking next week off. Why can't this pull up the way it should? Why are you doing this to me today? Why are you doing this to me today? Don't do this to me today. It literally cannot find the window. Here, have some dogs while I fix this. I am so sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on. Me, I got this all worked out. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Computer, ha 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 ha. No, you don't. Yeah, because computer things. So let's try this again. Because it just does not want to work for me today, and I don't, come on, OBS, get your act together. More bits! Look, more bits! Okay, do that. Get the right window. Aha! There we go. We got the right window up this time. Oof, oof, oof. Okay, so we're going to do that awkward thing where I roll the video again, just so we have the correct spot. Yeah, thank you for your patience. It found it. It found it. Okay, so we're gonna do the rocket video and we're gonna try this again. Hooray! So hello, welcome to Daily Space for today, June 26, 2019, and I am your host, Annie Wilson, and it's a Wednesday, so we're going to talk about rocket stuff. You know, like usual, we're going to talk about the stuff that launched, and we're going to talk about the stuff that will launch, and we're going to talk about more launches that will launch than usual, because I'm going to go further out, because from June 30th to July 6th, we're taking a break from streaming. Pamela and I are not going to stream. Yes, there are supposed to be rocket launches that happen. No, we are not watching them. We are taking a break from streaming for the week of July 4th. We love you all, but we really just want a week to chill. So, with that being said, there's going to be more slides than usual. So this is probably going to be, this is probably going to be a bit longer than usual, and yeah, a few other things. So let's see, we've covered the date, we've covered who I am, we've covered that we're not streaming next week. Oh yeah, questions. If I can't answer a question, the community can, because we are all awesome like that. So if you see a question, or not if you see a question, if you have a question while I'm doing the news, please go ahead and @ me. And then after I'm done with the news, I will scroll back up and we will answer questions. And usually if I can't answer something, somebody in the community can, like I just said. And yeah, we'll answer the things together and we'll get answers together as a community, because that's how we roll. We are freaking awesome. All right, so I'm going to remind you that in a separate window, to help science, to do a science, please map Bennu. I haven't checked how far we are, but if you could help us map Bennu by doing just one image today, that would be awesome. After we're done doing the news and the questions, we'll look to see how close we are from being halfway from doing Bennu, and we'll talk about all of that. So, with no further ado, let's get into the news, because it should be all set up correctly now. Alright, so first up, I didn't even mention this one last week, because sometimes rockets get launched and I miss it, and I don't catch it till afterwards. So this is a logo that we have not seen before. It is 2 shades of blue with, it almost looks like a human-ish figure made out of dots with some stars. And the text on it says Sierra Sierra Charlie, that's SSC. And that stands for Swedish Space something. I'm assuming it's company or something. I am terrible. Anyways, so there is a Mazar 14. So this was the 14th of the Mazar rockets, suborbital microgravity launch, or suborbital launch with a microgravity payload, and it was launched on a Brazilian-developed VSB-30 sounding rocket. So that's Victor Sierra Bravo-30 sounding rocket from Esrange, which is in, I am going to slaughter this, Kiruna, Sweden, to a 260 kilometer apogee at 600 hours 52 minutes AM UTC June 24th, so a couple days ago. And pretty much straight up and down, just 45 seconds after liftoff, the rocket's upper stage left Earth's atmosphere, meaning it made it over the 100-kilometer mark from the ground into space, which after 45 seconds is really stupid fast. And after reaching an altitude of the 244, so less than the 260 kilometers, rocket began its free fall back to Earth, giving experiments on board 6 minutes of weightlessness. Approximately 15 minutes after it lifted off from the range, the rocket's payload stage returned to Earth, touching down under parachutes in the wilderness of Sweden. Helicopters will return the experiments, and the whole process will be completed in 2 hours, but the unique results typically give many years of data to process and analyze, explained the ESA's head of non-space station payloads and platforms. So yeah, this was pretty cool. So I have a few pictures for you. This is the team, I'm assuming, in front of the Maser 14 rocket. As you can tell, this is not a very big rocket. You could probably hug this thing. And here it is being towed off to the launch site, and it's kind of hard to see on the screen, but people actually signed the nose cone. Again, not very big. This whole thing is not very big at all. And that's pretty much all I have for the, Swedish sounding rocket that did some, surprise science. They had a live feed of this up, so you were able to watch the whole thing from start to finish. There's way more media out there. It was just awkward to get it onto the slides, but it was a pretty cool launch to watch the recaps of. So yeah, it's super adorable, and it did some science. It did a science. All right, so next up, I had talked last week about a Chinese launch, but what ended up being launched was not what I thought was going to be launched. I thought some polar observatories were going to be launched. No, it turned out to be another Beidou satellite. So the neat thing about this launch, though, is that China actually ordered the evacuation of the crash zones before the launch. Yes, they asked residents to turn off the power and telephone lines to prevent fires, and they instructed them to close doors and windows to prevent theft. If you would like to read the evacuation notice, it is posted in our Discord on the general channel. So yeah, it went up June 24th at 1800 hours, 9 minutes. That's 6 p.m., 6:09 p.m. UTC. It was a Beidou launch. The polar observatories, because I think there were 3 polar observatories, launch has been delayed. I don't know why. Everything said it was supposed to go up on the 22nd. No Chinese rockets went up on the 22nd. Instead, this rocket went up on the 24th. And, yeah, I haven't seen images of the debris, because I know some of us like to actually look at images of the debris, but I have some launch photos. So this is a photo taken at launch. You see that usual characteristic yellow-red fog of, not fog, it's really smoke. And yeah, this was a night launch for China. And that's just as it was taking off. And of course, there's a video. So for those of you that have headphones on, this is probably going to be loud. And there it goes. There it goes. So yeah, that was pretty cool. It's always nice to see media of the Chinese rockets being launched, even if it is a couple days afterwards. So, yeah. So the next launch that happened is the launch that we all know about because we had a watch party and everybody gets so excited over SpaceX launches. So yeah, there was a SpaceX launch yesterday technically yesterday at 6:30 a.m. UTC. So that was 2:30 a.m. Eastern time. And yeah, we had a watch party. Do you have opinions about staying up that late? Well, too bad, because everybody else enjoyed it. Anyways, so there's a lot of highlights. It's okay. So a lot of highlights. And yeah, we're going to talk about all of them after we watch a bit of the launch video. Hopefully this will start at the right time. If it doesn't, it doesn't, and you know, that's how it happens.
T-minus 30 seconds.
Oh, it's 30 seconds in. So we're going to watch this for a second because it's really hard to get an exact time. But if you're watching this on screen and you missed the launch, the white fog you see venting off is liquid oxygen. It has to be cooled to essentially compress it all to get it all in there.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition.
Vehicles pitching downrange.
T plus 25 seconds into flight under the thrust of over 5 million pounds. Falcon Heavy is headed to space. We're getting ready to throttle down for passing through the period of maximum dynamic pressure. We've heard call out of throttle bucket for side core. We're through max Q.
Vehicle is supersonic.
Everything continuing to look good on the Merlin 1D engines. We're throttling back up on the side boosters to full power.
So I'm going to cut this off.
15 seconds into flight. Performance looks nominal.
I'm going to cut this off because this goes on. This is like a 4-hour long video. Because they did cover everything from their pre-liftoff show to the release of everything, and I couldn't make it up. I couldn't stay up to make it for the capture of everything. So yeah, this happens. So the highlights were, first of all, both of the boosters landed successfully. So those will be able to be reused. I think they were already previously used on flights. They probably were. As a reminder, this was the third launch of the Falcon Heavy, which is the number of launches that the Air Force requires before it certifies it for critical payloads, critical sensitive payloads, essentially. And the other thing that happened that was kind of a bummer is that they were trying to catch the center core way further out away from coast, or away from the coast, than they ever have before, and they were hoping to hit the mark, but it didn't. This is kind of a grainy photo, not a really great photo of, you know, the center core coming down, but essentially the center core just crashed into the water. They were really close, but they didn't make it, and it was kind of a toss-up of whether or not they were going to catch it anyways. So they tried. I don't think they were really counting on recovering the second core, or the center core, because it was just kind of that risky maneuver. It was supposed to land on Of Course I Still Love You, and this is a photo from Of Course I Still Love You, and it missed, and it crashed into the ocean. I don't know if they were able to fish it out, because this was also a night launch, so that adds complications. So A good news thing that Dr. Pamela touched on briefly yesterday was that the yacht formerly known as Mr. Steven, now known as Ms. Tree, caught a fairing in her net. Apparently Mr. Steven had never been able to do that, but Ms. Tree could. And the goal was to catch one fairing in the net and fish one out of the ocean, and that is exactly what happened. So this was a major first for the yacht formerly known as Mr. Steven, now known as Ms. Tree. So yeah, if you haven't read Dr. Pamela's tweet about this, I found it amusing. Essentially, catch like a girl, and everyone does better when they're, when the correct pronouns are used for them. So yeah, Ms. Tree did it. Ms. Tree did it. And the other major thing that set a record for this launch was the fact that there were 4 second stage burns, and all 4 of them were completed successfully. So that's a new record. I think the Air Force also required that. Or it may have been just using that to get everything up into the multiple orbits, because there were satellites released in 3 different orbits? It was wild. And the last I checked, all the satellites have contacted their ground stations and everything looks healthy. So that's pretty freaking awesome. So, yeah, those are the things that launched. So now we're moving on to the things that are going to launch. And first up, tomorrow. Actually, yeah, tomorrow. I had to look at it because I was like, but wait. So yeah, June 27th at 400 hours, 30 minutes a.m. That's 4:30 a.m. UTC, which will be just after midnight. So 12:30 a.m. for East Coast. West Coast, you have a bit easier, 9:30 p.m. On the 26th. Those of you that are, plus GMT, plus UTC, y'all can figure it out. That's exactly why I give you the UTC hours. This is the Make It Rain mission. And it's going to be a rideshare, and it's mostly 2 satellites that I know of. So here is the mission patch. And it is it's a square diamond, or square that's been rotated, has the normal, fairing cover bit of the Electron with an umbrella hat on top of it. The number 7 says Rocket Lab Spaceflight, Make It Rain. There's some clouds and some raindrops. And the mission is called this in a nod to the high volume of rainfall in Seattle, where spaceflight is headquartered, as well as in New Zealand, where Launch Complex 1 is headquartered. So, and on this mission, there are 2 payloads, like I mentioned. Black Sky's Global 4 satellite and the Melbourne Space Program's Acrux? We'll go with Acrux. 1 CubeSat. So here is an image of the rocket on the pad from the wet dress rehearsal on June 21st. And this is an image I was able to pull up of essentially Black Sky Global 4. It's in there somewhere under that casing. Anyways, I felt this image gave you a good scale of how large the satellite was. It's, not too big. It's not huge, but it's not tiny. Black Sky Global is a global intelligence platform, which is their words, not mine. I would have used the more, generic remote sensing. And this is going to be the 4th satellite out of a constellation of 60. And the end goal for Black Sky is to be able to get updates rather quickly on all sorts of things, all sorts of cities, have a lot of coverage. So yeah, some countries would call this remote sensing. Black Sky is like, no, this is global intelligence platform. So yeah, that's the bigger satellite. And the teeny tiny satellite, the Acrux, is the one the 1 unit CubeSat. A reminder, 1 unit CubeSats are 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters by 11.35 centimeters. For Americans, take a dollar bill. Take a dollar bill. Take the left edge and fold it towards fold it so you can see the OUT in the Federal Reserve note. And this is about 10 centimeters. It's a little larger than 10 centimeters, but it's close enough to give you an idea of how large this satellite is, or rather how tiny. So this is 10.4 centimeters. So yeah, the CubeSat is about this size on 2 edges. And DPI is contributing that it weighs a liter bottle of soda. So it's half the weight of a 2-liter bottle, or just if you can find one of those 1-liter bottles of soda, that's how much it weighs. So, yeah, so this is the Melbourne Space Program's ACRUX CubeSat, ACRUX 1 CubeSat, excuse me. So I have a couple cool facts for you. Cool fact number 1, Melbourne Space Program is not a company or a government organization. It is a not-for-profit education organization run entirely by volunteers. Cool fact number 2, ACRUX 1 was named after ACRUX Alpha Crucis, the brightest star in the Southern Cross, which is super cool because if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, you may not have ever seen this. And the kind of cool fact number 3 is that this was built by students. So this is not the first time that Australia's had a student-built satellite, but from what I read, I've gathered it's the first one in a long while. So I thought it was pretty cool. I don't think it's supposed to do anything other than a technology demonstration, but still, it's pretty freaking cool, and I did want to emphasize just how tiny this satellite is. So, yeah. And on to the next launch that's going to happen. So the next launch that's going to happen is on July 2nd. We are not streaming this. Repeat, we are not streaming this. This falls on our off week. So that launch is going to be for the Orion Ascent Abort mission. And Orion is the NASA human space capsule. So yeah, this test is going to use a purpose-built partial launch vehicle of the sort used during the Apollo testing phases, and the sole purpose in life is to get the Orion capsule and abort system up in the air so they can be tested live. And here is the mission patch, and there's 3 stars at the top, 14 stars under the line. There's an additional star on the Florida coast to represent Cape Canaveral Air Force Station. So there's a total of 18 stars. I'm sure there's some significance there, but I don't know what. The entire patch is in the shape of the Orion capsule, and the text just says Orion Ascent Abort 2. So that's it. That's it. And some other facts on this system. The launch abort system will activate after 55 seconds of ascent at an altitude of, let's go 9.4 kilometers at max Q while the booster is still firing, and the whole purpose is to collect data on the separation environment. So this is a picture I found of the Orion Ascent mission prior to launch. So again, it doesn't look very big. That booster really only has to get it up so high, and then the really pointy thing on the end is what's going to be used for the abort purposes. That's essentially what they're testing. So yeah, there's that. And another launch that we won't be covering that's going to happen during our off week is on July 5th. It's a Roscosmos launch at 5:41 a.m. UTC. This is the Meteor-M 22, or number 22 satellite, and it's a meteorology satellite, second of a group of the planned 6, and the reason why it's 2-2 is that there was a original Meteor-M satellite or constellation. I think it was only a single satellite that was... So they had the Meteor-M1, and then they had the Meteor-M2, and now instead of going on to 3, they've just gone on to, here's a constellation of the 2s. I don't fully understand why, but yeah, this is the second out of a constellation of 6. Here is the first and second stage of the Soyuz 2-1 Bravo that will launch the satellite, and you know, there's humans there for scale, so yeah, much larger than, I don't know, that Swedish sounding rocket or the Electron that's going up. Definitely larger. And here is an image of the frigate dispersal unit with the fuel components. So there's no satellites attached to this. This is just the last stage that will have all the satellite, or will have the satellite mounted to it, and it'll bring it up to the correct orbit and then let the satellite go. Again, humans for scale. Oof, oof, oof. Okay. One more launch to talk about during our off week. So July 6th, there's no time given yet, but Falcon Eye 1 is going to be launched by Arianespace. And I couldn't find a whole lot of images because it is kind of far out, and they did just have a launch, so they're still, you know, doing press stuff for their previous launch. But here is an image of Falcon 1 arriving in French Guiana. It's going to be a high-resolution optical reconnaissance system for the United Arab Emirates. Our instro adds allegedly capable of resolution down to 70 centimeters squared over a 20-kilometer, wide image track. And this is going to be the first of 2. Falcon Eye 2 will be launched later this year. The mass is less than 1,500 kilograms, so for Americans, that's 750 2-liter bottles of soda. And yeah, it's going to be launched on a Vega rocket, not a Soyuz, not an Ariane, and I think this will be the 14th or 15th launch of a Vega rocket. I'm not entirely too sure. So, yeah, that's all the launches that are going to happen this week and next week. A whole bunch of launches, I know. Oof, oof, but we got through it all. Alright, so let me pull up the dogs again because, you know, dogs. Always dogs. And it's the 15th launch. Thank you, DPI. So I'm going to scroll back up and try to catch all of your questions and comments and things. While I'm scrolling and giving you time to ask questions, I'm going to remind you that this has been a production of PSI, that's Planetary Science Institute in Tucson, Arizona. Make it rain! Tucson, Arizona. Working in collaboration with Youngstown State University here in Youngstown, Ohio. So wow, it actually kind of cut off everything. I did catch Keeper of Maps say, oh, we're saluting now. So this is actually hello in American Sign Language. And yeah, it looks like a salute. And for those that are curious, goodbye is this. So if I had more of my torso in camera, I would probably be signing a little bit more. Because I know how to say hello, my name is, essentially, and goodbye. That's all I've worked on because I can't get everything on camera because I'd have to do it up in front of my face instead of in front of my chest where it's more normal. Yeah, the Make It RefSmet says the Make It Rain rocket launch is scheduled for June 27th. Wait, that's tomorrow. Yes, and no, they probably won't have Cheerios on board. Yeah. Yeah, Cheerios are awesome. Arnstro says, if I can host, there will be pet feeding. That would be amazing if you could host the launch. Bad Panda Bear says, perhaps I should get a pet Roomba to throw Cheerios at. Hey, there you go. There you go. Space bunnies! So, Refsman asks, polar observatories, meaning spy satellites. No, literally polar observatories. I mean, they might be spy satellites. Who knows? It's China. But I think they're just trying to do some polar science like a lot of other people are. So, yeah. Yeah. And yeah, it was nice of China to do the evacuation notice. I don't know if that's something they've done in the past. It was something that Launch Stuff shared on Twitter, and that's who I follow to get a lot of the Chinese launch media after the fact. Yeah. High Speed Rex says, science fact, rockets are loud. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. An underappreciated fact for sure. Refsman says, I think some of the vapor cloud around pre-launch of the... Let me see if I can find that image so we can pull it back up and look at it together. It's probably the SpaceX launch. Oh yeah, of the SpaceX launch, and that was in the video. Yeah, some of that probably was water vapor from the oxygen interacting with the air. I would not be surprised if that was the case, if it was water vapor in addition to the super chilled oxygen. I do not know enough about that kind of chemistry to say for sure one way or the other, but I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. Oh my. Oh my. Falco asks, was it supposed to land? The center core? Yes. The side boosters? Yes. The fairing? Yes. All five of these things, because when we talk about the fairing, it was really two parts of the fairing, both halves. Everything was planned to be caught and reused, and they were only planning on catching one fairing in the net and fishing the other one out of the ocean. So yeah, they were successful with everything but the center core. The center core recovery. Keeper Map says there were some tweets from Musk that it suggested it aborted itself because something was damaged. I don't know. I'm just going to go with that. Guido asks, are there any news about Light Sail 2? Other than it contacted its ground station, no. It is set to automatically deploy from Prox 1 in 6 days, as DPI points out. And yeah, no, Michael, there's no Cheerios on board the Make It Rain mission. And yes, Falco, Global X is indeed a spy satellite. Just kind of scrolling down. Refsmat adds, there are 4 stars in the Southern Cross, and they are Arcrux, Bacrux, Gacrux, and Duckcrux. Part of me is like, are you for real? And the other part of me is like, but Greek alphabet sounds right. Horcrux Alpha, no. Mr. Bill Aikman asks, when is this? And somebody else answered the abort test. So the Orion abort test for NASA, hello Cat, is on July 2nd. When I looked last night, there wasn't a time yet. There probably will be a time posted within the next day or so. Definitely within the next week. Oh my. And if the abort fails, no, they will not dock to ISS. They won't get that high. They are just I don't know, I guess it crashes back down to Earth. And hopefully, yeah, it'll go up and not blow up to come back down. So, yeah. Veronica adds the 18... I know you have opinions on, you know, symbolism, but we're trying to talk here. The humans are talking. Thank you. So Veronica Cure asks, 18 astronauts and cosmonauts have been killed during official spaceflight missions. This may be why 18 stars. Refsmat as the Orion Ascent abort test capsule will not be recovered. Seriously, there is not even a parachute on board. This is only a test of the abort tractor rocket, not the parachute system. And the abort tractor rocket thing is, as soon as I can find it, it is this pointy thing on top of the capsule. So, can I mark things? Here's my pointer. So this pointy thing up here is the abort thing. This part in the center is the capsule that is not going to be recovered. And this thing down here is the booster, the purpose-made booster, which I'm assuming is also not going to be recovered. So that's what's going on with that. Refsmat adds to Hanny's, back in Apollo days, there was a command module Ascent abort test where the launch vehicle flew apart before the scheduled abort test, but the abort system took over and it flew perfectly, so they chalked it up as a win. That's amazing. That's amazing. Falco adds, soon there will be traffic jams and launches. Maybe. There are so many launches that goes on. And yeah, Susie, until I started covering the launches, because when I started covering the launches, I knew zero things other than, you know, countries sent things up into the air. I didn't know how many launches there were a year. I didn't realize how many of them were, like, satellites, because we take all of these satellites for granted. We really do. We take satellite TV for granted. We take GPS for granted. Yeah, all of this communication stuff is amazing, and a lot of the launches are really just to get satellites up there in orbit for things. So yeah, yeah, there are a lot of launches. And there were bits. Did I miss the bits? I missed the bits. So let's do bits of any other kind. And make it rain. No, I don't think the mailman just rang. I don't know why they went off, but they had a dog explosion or a dog bustion, as many people said. Trucker Kev says better not crash, test to abort, escape, and survive. I don't think they're even, obviously if they're not recovering the capsule, they're not sending humans. So, yeah. The astronauts will be in the capsule, but there are no astronauts on this. The astronauts will be in the... Where's my pointer? The astronauts would be, if there were astronauts on this mission, they would be in this, I think. The pointy thing on top is literally just... I don't think there's room for them up there. It's literally to help the capsule land safely, is my best understanding for that. So yeah, yeah. No windows, and no, they're not. They may be sending a buster, but they may have decided against it. But I think as far as everything I've read is literally, this is a test of the abort system. They are going to deploy some data captured capsule thingies. Buster is just a dummy that collects information on forces applied to it. Think of it as a crash test dummy, but for launches. And yeah, Gluten-Free Space says, please no windows. We don't want it to explode during update. Michael T. Meyer says, hey, the pointy bit pulls the capsule off of the rocket. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Buster's also known as Starman without the roadster. Totally. So, hi, Puck. Are you being a good boy? Are you defending the house and your Cheerios? You are. Yeah, so, other things that I have for updates. There are now 4 toilets in orbit. One of the toilets has been burned up in the atmosphere. That makes at least 145 toilets that the Russians have burned up in the atmosphere. I really need to work on that. I really need to work on that database. Because yes, these are things I know. Yeah, but now there are 4 toilets in orbit. And I have a surprise for you later today. The Spenring's like, here, have some space toilets. I have a surprise for you later today. So I was able to get registered for a webinar about the Orion abort mission. And this is partially because I'm not going to be covering it, next week, and partially because, hey, why not? It is meant for K through 12 educators. They let informal educators pop in there as well. So yeah, we're going to be watching it, and I'm going to stream it. Let me double check, because I think it's at 4 or 5 p.m. Eastern. So let me double check that right now while I'm thinking about it before I'm like, oh yeah, come back at this time. Because they actually sent me, I have a confirmation email and everything. So it starts at, come on, load. It starts at 5 p.m. Eastern time. I will be streaming it. And if I can't stream it, I will let you know. But I'm going to stream it. I have no idea if I'm allowed. I don't know about any of that. So yeah, but since they will seemingly let anybody tune in, we're gonna watch. We're gonna watch. This is being put on by Langley NASA Education Public Outreach, I think. So, Bad Panda Bear asks, will there be a toilet on the Orion abort test? Probably not. Probably not. They probably cut down on weight as much as they could, unless they're trying to make it realistic, in which they probably did put a toilet on there. Yeah, I think it says Langley NASA EPD, so I'm assuming that's NASA Education and Public Outreach. Oh, no. Educator Professional Development Collaborative. That's what it is. So, I don't know. I figured it would be interesting to pop in and watch. And maybe we'll learn something? I'm hoping we'll learn something. Langley sounds like another agency. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's by the Educator Professional Development Collaborative, and yeah, we're going to stream it. So we're just gonna go on there and we're going to lurk and quietly watch. Part of me is like, I don't know if I should even be announcing that we're just going to crash a NASA thing, but there you go. There you go. But I figured I'd share that. I will post a reminder in Discord, and if you're on Discord and if you're a follower, you'll get a notification of when we go live. So there's that. Yeah. Any other questions? So that'll be in about 3 hours. I'll probably go live half hour early just so, we're all settled. If you all want to play bingo for this, we can play bingo. I'm not joking. We can totally make up a bingo for this webinar. Yeah. So I don't see any questions. I'm going to take this opportunity to give you one last chance for questions. I'm going to look to see who is streaming for Brain Bites. And I don't really see anybody else for Brain Bites, and I'm going to check out, see who's streaming on TKF. Oh, Prof. Melko looks like they might be streaming. And he has a chemistry PhD, so that'll be cool. And yeah, I am also open to any suggestions that anybody has. All right, bye Falco. Buzzword bingo. Yeah, we can totally play buzzword bingo if you want. CVS. All right, now you guys are just all being silly. So, I'm gonna get ready to wrap things up. Get that there, get that there. Pull up this. All right, got the raid all lined up. All right, are we ready for the wall of text? All right, we're doing the wall of text. This, again, has been a production of PSI, working in collaboration with Youngstown State University. We are brought to you by you, so thank you for all of your support, really. Really. Emotional, community, financial, otherwise. Thank you for all of your support. We would not be here without you. If you cannot support us financially, that's okay. It's okay. One of the best things you can do is hit that follow button and inflict us upon your colleagues, friends, and family. Yes, inflict science onto other people. Another way you can help us is by mapping Bennu. That's right. That's the thing I forgot. I forgot to see how far we were from mapping Bennu. Once we get to halfway, that is not that number that I was trying to find. We will have a celebration stream. And right now we are at 1,877 images to do, which is 378 away from our goal. So we're getting closer every day. So yeah, you want to help us? Map Bennu. Inflict inflict science on unsuspecting people. What else? If you ever do miss a stream, we archive everything on YouTube. So yeah, if you missed the video on demand, check YouTube. It'll be there. If you're watching this on YouTube, you've missed out. You can hang out with us live for these streams. We stream Sunday through Friday, but not next week, at 1 p.m. Eastern. Right now that's 1700 hours UTC. And Sunday is me colorizing space telescope data. Monday through Friday is daily space. This. Hooray. And I think that's all the things. I feel like that's all the things. Final reminder, which I will remind you again tomorrow if Dr. Pamela doesn't, and on Friday if Dr. Pamela doesn't. We are not streaming next week. We're taking the week off. Because somebody's going to ask us if we're going to stream, and the answer is no, we're not streaming. We love you all. We need a break. So yeah, I think that's all the things. So now I'm going to awkwardly roll the credits, as you do. And we're going to raid Professor Melko because they're doing science. So let's keep the science going. And I will see you soonish. It might be tomorrow. It might be, a while from now. Who knows? We'll find out together. So have a wonderful insert time of day here. Yeah, keep being awesome and be awesome to each other. And if the skies allow, and you don't live in Youngstown where it's always cloudy, look up. Bye.